Welcome to Ask Shannon, a place for grace, where one mother's passion and determination for her child, diagnosed with a rare disease, was suddenly faced with saving the life of her special needs child. This became her only focus. When the life of her child was threatened, Shannon Kinnett's instincts led her away from conventional medicine. She desperately found an alternative, natural approach, and the outcome was astounding. Shannon shares her knowledge and Grace's story, now full of hope and happiness.
And now, Shannon Kennett.
This last week, I got a lot of requests from different parents from around the world asking me, how do you choose a physician for your special needs child? I think the biggest challenge that I had in picking out a physician for Grace is that I wanted to find a physician that was not only open-minded to the other things that were going on besides conventional medicine, but a physician that could actually spend time with Grace, that could actually watch what she was doing in a clinical setting and see her little quirks about her and so forth. And so I really searched hard back then, but now parents, you guys really have a great option because there's an organization called MAPS, which stands for the Medical Academy of Pediatrics and Special Needs. And what this group is physicians from all over the world that have come together. They go through a fellowship program and they get trained on various things that deal with our kids, like nutrition and GI, seizure disorders, but they do it not using conventional medicine. So like we always are told, put your kids on seizure medicine, and Grace was one of those kids. She was on 4 seizure medicines at one time. But a lot of times when you're on one medication, that leads to another medication. And I really wanted to go different with Grace. And I think that MAPS has that. You can contact them by going to medmaps.org. There's physicians all over the United States and worldwide that are now qualified, that have gone through the fellowship program. And I can promise you that when I went to my first MedMaps physician, I could see that. I could see that they were trained outside of the box, that they understood what I was talking about when I said Grace just wasn't really focusing, and they weren't saying that necessarily it was just a situational thing because of her age, but maybe she did have some GI issues going on. And I think the biggest thing that I love about this group of physicians is that they listen to me. And as a parent of a special needs child, we know how critically that is to us, that physicians listen to what we have to say and that they don't think that we're crazy. Because believe me, I've had so many people out there, doctors, nurses, that have thought that I was crazy. And because I've said, no, I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that. And they're like, well, you can't be. And I'm like, well, I am. And so this group of physicians, they're trained above and beyond. And another thing that I love about them is that they have heart. Most of the physicians, a lot of them have special needs children themselves. They want to give back, kind of like a pay it forward. And I can't feel more comfortable when I'm in an office and they're looking at my daughter as a human being, and they're looking at her as if she has potential and that she can be anything that any other child can be. Because when I leave there, I have hope. And isn't that what we all want at the end of the day? All of us parents, whether it's for our, typical children or our special needs children, we want hope that they have a bright future, and you're going to find that. If you have difficulty, give me a call. You can contact me at shannonandgrace.com. I can help you find a MAPS physician in your area, but that's probably the first thing I would start with. And a lot of those MAPS physicians, if you need a specialty that's above them or you need to go into the hospital to have a certain test done, they will help coordinate that. And what's nice about that is that then it's not just a parent talking to, the local hospital saying they need a scope done on their child. It's coming from an MD saying, listen, I need this child scoped. These are the reasons why. You go in, you have the test done, and the tests come back to your doctor that is going to think outside the box and is going to help your child. It was really a challenge for me because we entered the hospital when Grace was 3 months old, and so we obviously were around conventional medicine. And it took us a really, really long time to get physicians to kind of look past the fact that, Grace had a terminal diagnosis. They weren't wanting to help, and it was really, really challenging for me. There were several occasions where I actually remember firing a physician in a hospital room and him saying to me, you can't fire me. I work for the hospital. And I was thinking, well, yeah, I can. I don't want you working for my daughter because you really aren't working towards making Grace anything but what she is. And I believe that she can be better than what you're telling me that she can be. And so it was really challenging for me back then. And I get asked a lot, like, how I ended up doing things and pushing things farther. And it is challenging and it's difficult, but you are the caretakers of your loved one. You're the parents, you're the aunts, the uncles, the godmothers. And it's really the support that I had around me that really helped me say, okay, you know what? I'm going to find these people, because I kept thinking to myself, there has to be somebody. There has to be somebody out there that's going to be able to help Grace. It can't just be that I'm supposed to take her home and I'm supposed to let her die. There has to be somebody that believed as much as I believed that maybe, just maybe, it was possible that Grace could be something more than what the doctors were telling me. So if you're in this situation and you're fighting the mainstream medical establishment, or you're just getting stuck where you are, you empower yourself, because that's something that I learned at I wish I would have learned it earlier. It took me a long time to realize that I had that power, that I was Grace's mom, and that I made the decisions for her, and that the doctors didn't make the decisions. They only made the decisions when I allowed them to make those decisions for her. And so when you're in that situation and you're struggling and you're not connecting, that's the next biggest thing I say, is that you have to be able to connect with the physicians, the nurses, the people that are taking care of your child, or even your loved one, because if you're not connected with them, you're not going to feel like they're doing the best that they possibly can do for your child or your loved one. And for me, that was the most critical, because I didn't see very many people fighting for Grace but me. I didn't see them saying to me that, we're going to keep searching Shannon. We're going to keep finding a way. Definitely they were fighting the symptoms and they were giving her things to stop the things from happening, but they never were searching for why it was happening. They were just saying that some things just happened for a reason and this is the way it is. Take her home, make her comfortable, and let her be. But maybe it's not supposed to be that way. And so it's really important that we really work and struggle and fight for what we want for our children, and we can do that. And parents sometimes don't realize they have that power from within, but they do. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, because I went through many doctors, and to be honest, I even went through a couple alternative physicians that I ended up firing and moving on to new ones. Because anytime you become stagnant or you feel like somebody isn't working for the best interest of you, your family, your child, you need to remove yourself from that situation. No matter how attached you may be to that physician, no matter how comfortable you may be. I'm one of those people that I don't like change, but with our special needs children, Grace brings change every hour on the hour, whether I like it or not. We would be happy one minute, she'd go into a seizure the next minute, I'd be in the intensive care unit, we'd be having our priest come up, give us her last rites. We have change, and what you have to learn to do is you need to work through that change. You need to be as quick as that change is happening, and you need to be on top of things to know that, okay, this is where we're at, this is what we need to do. And believe me, you struggle at first, and then after a while, it just becomes kind of like second nature, unfortunately. But what that does is it allows you to do critical thinking, and it allows you to say, okay, I know this is a GI issue. I know I need to see this doctor. I need to start looking in the phone book. I need to start calling. And now, unlike, 13 years ago, when I was just relying on myself and going through phone books and, doing a lot of soul searching and just talking to every single person I could talk to, it made the time longer. Now, parents have such more of an advantage, because there are organizations like MAPS out there that you can go to, where parents have already done the work, the legwork. They've already found these physicians. The groups have already been formed. But for you parents that are sitting out there and you're watching this today and you're sitting next to your child and maybe they're having a seizure right now, or you feel like they're on too many medications, you can do something about that. You truly, truly can. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to have the outcome that I've had. I've been very blessed in my life to have my daughter go from life support to being a functional 15-year-old daughter, but you have to try, because if you don't try, I can promise you that you're not going to be able to sleep at night. You're not going to be able to go forward in your life if you don't try every single thing possible to help your child. I guess my biggest gift today to give to parents is to go to medmaps.org and find yourself a MAPS physician.
Please share this information with anyone who is facing special needs or health concerns at any age. Shannon's goal is to help as many people and parents as possible. If she can save you any heartache sharing the knowledge of what she has learned, that saved her daughter's life, and possibly save you tens to even hundreds of thousands of dollars in resources that she spent, her goal is accomplished. Please visit shannonandgrace.com for continued updates and free resources. Send her an email with your questions. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. She is here to help you and will do all she can to assist.